the overhead lunge. Let's see it. Once again, you have options. You can lunge backwards, you can lunge forward. Doesn't really matter. You may find one more comfortable to you. I argue over time you should be able to do both. But let's talk about where you're gonna feel this. It is a lunge, you will feel your legs, but there is something that just happens by holding that static position overhead. You need to work really hard on always pressing up through that arm. It's instinctually going to want to bend on you. And so you will find the amount of midline and shoulder work that gets put into this pretty significant. And I would argue that this is one of the more potent moves for developing a really strong midline. Let's talk about some durability tips. The first one is to make sure that that dumbbell is right over the center of your body. That means you need a long arm, getting as high as you can. We always talk about being on team neck or no neck. This is a no neck situation. He's using his whole shoulder to press up into this dumbbell, staying very tall through his head as he goes through the movement. Now, as you travel down, there's something in your brain oftentimes that goes, oh, my dumbbell can come down. No, 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 no. So as you go down, think pressing up through that arm, and then once again, let your whole stand be initiated by driving that dumbbell up and thinking that you're pressing up the whole time. So that's gonna be your first durability tip. The second one, we're gonna kind of let go of the weight here for a moment, let James relax, comes down to your feet. Now that we have something up overhead, especially if you have limited shoulder mobility, we're gonna end up wanting to arch in our midline a little bit, which then when you go into your lunge, you're gonna find yourself on your toes. So this is kind of a twofold. You gotta keep this locked down and push back on that dumbbell in order to get it where it needs to be, rather than arching to get that dumbbell where it needs to be. See the difference there? So trying to keep it there, he's gonna lock down and push back where his thumb is. This is gonna allow you in your lunge to go mid-foot to heel. You want your full foot in contact with the ground, to be clear, but we don't want you to land on your toes with your heel never making it down or not being loaded at all. So whether he steps back or whether he steps forward, we need to make sure that the step is long enough that you end up on your heel. Can we show them just a couple lunges without the weight? That if his lunge is too close, he's not gonna be able to get on his heel. So if he takes a small step, he's gonna end up on his toes as he goes to come down. Maybe not quite so small. There we go, and that knee ends up diving forward, his heel lifts up, and his weight is all on his toes. Can you take a bigger step forward this time, landing on your arch? Great, and then he can sink straight down. Yes, the knee travels a little bit, but it's behind his toe, so we're good to go. The moment this knee comes past the toe, we're not gonna get the stimulus we want anymore. It becomes very quadsy, we don't get to use the backside of our body, and we're loading that knee an awful lot. If he steps backwards, yes, you're going onto the toes of the back foot, but he's gonna glue that front leg down and not let that knee travel forward at all if he can help it. Now for your try hard tip, there is always going heavier, which don't underestimate with this movement how a little bit of weight is really going to impact that position. Find a mirror or a sliding glass door or something you can see your reflection in and practice. Are you really locked out through your elbow? Because every time I think I am, and then I see video and I'm like, I'm still not locked out. I mean, it is like maximal brain energy into pressing through that arm. If you can't hit that position and keep your ribs down as you lunge backwards or forwards, the clean is going to be your best friend. And I want you to get heavy for those cleans to get that same midline stimulus that we would receive with that overhead position. So don't cop out and keep the same or lighter weight going into this position. Load it up and get after it.